Hidden History is supported by G2A.com and our supporters at Patreon.
Hey there everyone, it's me, Austin. You may know me as the trusty voice behind Hidden History, or you may know me from my Rethinking series, or you may know me from my weird open letters that I write, or maybe other stuff. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm here to let you know that I'm actually passing the torch of Hidden History on to our good friend Andrew here so I can focus more on my other videos, and because, well, his voice is just damn sexy. I trust him, and you should trust him too.
Thank you, Austin. I'll do my best.
Brings me back to my days taking over Hidden History. I'm gonna miss it. Actually, I'm really gonna miss it. You know what? No, I've changed my mind. I'm not gonna give it up. It's mine. Give it back, Andrew.
No! You can't have it.
It's mine! I want all the glory!
I worked hard for this. I earned it. Get out of here, old man. If you have played Fallout 4, you are probably aware of just how important questions about artificial intelligence and what exactly it means to be human are to its narrative. Hell, Austin has even made more than one video basically covering this very question. Humans are, as a species, pretty damn narcissistic. We almost always reflect aspects of ourselves in things that we build, create, and imagine. It's why we tell stories about bears living in actual houses, or we want our smartphones to speak in a recognisable human voice. We see everything through the lens of our own humanity, and when we create, we give our own characteristics to things that aren't even human. Stories that are about artificial intelligence tend to grapple with the same questions. Where is the line between human and inhuman? When does the imitation of human consciousness become so advanced that it becomes the one and the same? And many stories have been asking the same questions for a very long time. Let's talk about the word robot for a minute. Now, it's not exactly used in Fallout very much, which it's moved on to a fancier word like synth, but the core concept remains the same. Robot is so commonplace in the world of fiction that we almost don't even think about it today. But it's actually a fairly modern word, which can trace its roots back to 1921, where it was first used by the Czech playwright Karel Čapek in his play RUR, which stands for Rossum's Universal Robots, a stage play that was a huge hit with critics when it premiered. Now, you might be asking yourself, what a play this old, that actually looked like this by the way, hilarious right? What a play this old actually has to do with Fallout 4? The answer to that question becomes pretty clear when looking at the plot of the play. RUR takes place in the then future of 1950, where robots are being manufactured so cheaply and almost anyone can afford one, by a giant company called, you guessed it, Rossum's Universal Robots. The protagonist of the story, a woman named Helena, works for the League of Humanity, a group that believes that the robots should be given human rights as recognised under the law as humans. Eventually, the robots turn out to be just as violent as people are, rising up against their masters and starting a real robot apocalypse by taking over the world and killing most human beings in the process. A fear we see manifesting itself throughout the history of science fiction. You can probably see the obvious Fallout parallels there, with the Institute playing the role of Rossum's Universal Robots, and the Railroad standing in for the League of Humanity. That's not the only connection though. The play's advanced robots, much like the newer models of the Synths, are almost indistinguishable from humans in terms of looks, with a few characters in the story actually mistaking a robot for a human. When looking at RUR as a whole, it's actually pretty incredible. Not just in how much it seems to connect with the plot and themes of Fallout 4, but in how the questions that it raised have remained pretty timeless. Going to show that the specific sci-fi words and looks may change, but our thoughts and anxieties about artificial intelligence have mostly stayed the same. Speaking of staying the same, let's jump way forward in time to another story about a company that manufactures robot killing machines and managed to kill us all with a robot apocalypse. The Terminator series. One funny thing to note is that even though Todd Howard is now known as the king of all things Elder Scrolls and Fallout, one of his earlier projects with the company Bethesda was actually working on 1995's Terminator Future Shock. Howard has spoken a few times recently about the game saying, Quote, "I have great memories of that project." And then Quake comes out and everybody forgets about it, which is what it is, understandably so. But that game has a real sweet spot for a lot of us. It's no surprise that the franchise has continued to have a subtle influence on Bethesda games. There's the obvious, of course. The early generation of synths bear a pretty noticeable resemblance to the T800s. But that's not all. Take the cursors, widely feared by the railroad. These synth assassins possess incredible strength, advanced knowledge of combat, endurance and awareness. Add that to their penchant for wearing dark clothes and sunglasses, and it's pretty easy to see Bethesda's love of Skynet, Terminator and Judgment Day are very still intact. These aren't the only pieces of fiction about artificial technology to have an impact on the Fallout series. In fact, we'll probably cover the connections between Blade Runner and Fallout in a future video, just talking about the Institute. But they both illustrate something, not just about the games, but about how we continue to wrestle with the same themes again and again throughout the history of science fiction. Robots, Terminators, synths, they're all unique, but they also all play on the same feelings and ideas, and they all ask us what exactly it means to be human. Alright, so now let's dig into some comments. First off, from Eli Lofton, we have a comment about a character you meet in the Dugout Inn, Hawthorne. Hawthorne fears the pre-war ruins of Salem, and warns you against venturing there, saying he has a bad feeling about that place. This could be a reference to John Hathorne, a judge at the infamous Salem witch trials, and one of the leading instigators behind them. He's now mostly remembered for being a wacko who murdered innocent people in Salem, so no wonder he doesn't like the place. And now for our bad comment. This week it comes from Alexander Johnson, who asks, "Hey, Shoddycast, when you pick up a shotgun in a video game, do you call it your shoddy gun?" Well, we didn't before, Alexander, but come on, we're definitely going to be doing that now. Lastly, we have our trivia. In our previous Elder Scrolls episode, we asked you what item has the inscription of the One Ring on it, and the answer was A, the Weather Word Circlet. This week's question may be a little bit harder. What Fallout 4 synth references the movie Alien by saying, "Not bad, for a human, that is"? Is it A, Nick Valentine, B, Glory, C, Gabriel, or D, Amelia Stockton? Tell us your answers in the comment section below. And remember, Hidden History is supported by G2A.com and our supporters on Patreon. Head over to the link in the description to G2A, or you could head on to our Patreon page and check that out. Right, I'll see you guys next week, and I'll try and dispose of Austin's body here.